All right, Lagos. Yeah, sorry for that whole hold up. Let me put it that way. You're welcome to the marketplace, and like I said, it's going to be an interesting conversation today. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, hey, marketplace, we get to share everything insightful that's happening in the world of usually it's oil and gas, those businesses, those, as they say, for the rich and famous. But hey, today it's going to be still oil and gas in a sense, but my guest joining me this evening is in the person of Jeremiah Olatide. He's a CEO of Petrol Price Dot Com, and he's going to be sharing insight on Dangote's refinery and this new update of distributing fuel nationwide. What exactly is it going to be? And as always, you know that you get to come through, share your thoughts here on WhatsApp. The number is 0809 Love to hear from you. So, without much ado, I'd love to say good evening and welcome, Jeremiah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
How was Father's Day yesterday?
Oh, it was.
I'm not. I don't know if you're father just yet, but hey, I think we're. Oh, awesome! So, quick question: what did you get?
Well, I got loads of messages.
Okay.
Loads of love.
Oh, that's
from my kids.
See, that's the one that counts, by the way. Every other thing is by the way.
Yeah.
They might not have get the essence yet of buying gifts for father, but I know that mommy will always,
Yeah.
But I'm glad to hear that you got the prayers.
Yeah.
That's the usual one that comes first, and then all the love messages.
Yeah. It was a great Father's Day.
I'm happy to
a
hear
remarkable
that.
one, yeah.
Okay, now let's switch gears and talk about Dangote's refinery and all the interesting stuff. So, Dangote Refinery is scheduled to begin its nationwide distribution of diesel PMS, and that's effective August the 15th. Yeah. I'm just wondering why not sooner? Why are we waiting till August? Is there some particular reason behind this?
Okay, well, once again, thank you for having me, and good evening, my listeners, and thank you once again. Well, Dangote Refinery's move to distribute PMS, that's petrol, and AGO, that's diesel, nationwide, was something that, as an expert, it wasn't like a news. It wasn't shocking to us. We expected something of such.
Okay.
And petroleum product is capital intensive.
Oh yes, it is actually.
Yeah, capital intensive. And for you to bring in players, retail outlet owners, telecommunication organizations, manufacturers to come get product from you, there should be a KYC. So the KYC is going to last for 60 days, effective from 16th of June. So the portal is open to retail outlet owners, interested vendors that you want the Dangote's product from the refinery to your location. You could come in, get yourself verified, get to know more about you, and as soon as August 15th comes, we kick start. So that's just the reason.
Okay, I like that. It actually gives you time not just to know your customer, but also to know where you're going to. Because if he says, "Oh, okay, we're starting next month," or we're starting tomorrow, not knowing who this clientele are, and then money will just go.
It's pretty risky.
That's a businessman trying to put things in place. I agree with that. But can you tell us more about the 4,000 CNG tankers that are meant to distribute the diesel and PMS across the country? When I heard 4,000, I was like, okay, is that a mistake? Isn't that too much?
Not at all. Okay. According to Petroleum Price.ng, that's our platform, we've tracked out all filling stations in Nigeria. So we have between 40,000 to 50,000 stations in Nigeria.
Oh my word. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So having 4,000 trucks to supply petroleum products nationwide is within range.
Okay.
Is within range. And CNG is 40% cost effective compared to PMS. Per kg of CNG is between 150 to 200 per kg. That's pretty equivalent to a liter. And you know a liter is between 870 and 900 naira.
Right.
Are you getting
Depending on where you're getting
Yeah. So first and foremost, the logistics from Dangote Refinery to any retail outlet is free. So that's why he is keen into the CNG initiative, because CNG is cheaper.
Right.
Yeah. So for me to give you petroleum product for free, I should be able to get a source that is cheaper. So CNG is better. Okay. And secondly, you know, the current administration has an initiative.
Yes.
So, and he's trying to key into the initiative, trying to promote the initiative that, okay, we're going to do 100 stations across Nigeria where our trucks could go refuel their CNG as soon as they go around.
Awesome stuff.
Are you getting me?
Awesome.
So he keyed into the CNG, and you know Dangote has an automobile organization. He's affiliated with, I think, a Chinese company thereabouts.
Okay.
So the conversion will be done internally.
Okay.
So he has imported over 4,000 trucks, I think 2 weeks ago. And I'm sure the 60-day period would help him all of that in. So the CNG initiative is a good one. It is cleaner, it is cheaper, and it is safer.
Cost effective. If you put everything in proper perspective, it actually makes sense, because if I can use CNG as opposed to using fuel, which is costing an arm, a leg, and maybe somebody's kidney, but and I can go through having those stations and it's fueled by CNG. I'm also promoting what the government is trying to push out. So that's a good initiative. But we understand that at the moment Dangote Refinery is also building its own CNG stations. That's a good one. So it's not just that he's promoting what the government is doing. I know you also mentioned his own collaboration. But here's the thing I want to know: how important really is private sector buying into government initiatives?
Well, for the petroleum industry, the private sector, particularly Dangote Refinery, just have to buy into government initiative. For example, we have the Naira for Crude policy. That is a big deal to the Dangote Refinery. At least, quite frankly, it gets between 150,000 barrels per day to 200,000 barrels per day. That is at least 40% of its total capacity, which is 650,000 barrels per day.
All right.
So that is very okay. So for you to have such opportunity for a current administration, you should be able to give back a full support. And you are buying in Naira. You know, oil is an international commodity.
It is.
Yes, and it trades in dollar. So for Nigeria to give local refiners, particularly Dangote, the payment in Naira, it's a big deal. Other foreign buyers buys in dollar, but for Dangote he buys in Naira. So with all of that, private organizers, they will definitely key into government initiative with all of those goodies.
I like the fact that you said it's goodies indeed, because if you can tap into all that, there are less, you get to in a sense spend less your company
lesser logistic costs.
Exactly.
The transportation cost from US or Europe down to Lagos, bringing in crude, You just get it close by, less like logistic costs, and it's going to help increase the labor. You get to employ more people, and it's going to help the economy grow. You know, when crude are transacted within, it helps the naira also.
I like the fact that we're also trying to build our own markets, increase our market share. But Lagos, here's where you come in. You have thoughts as well you want to share. You can come through on WhatsApp. The number hasn't changed, 0809 4440981. I'd love to hear from you. But in the meantime, we have a quick breather to take. When we come back in, we'll be talking more about how since we have lots of fuel stations in urban areas, what how we'll structure that. But we'll talk more about that on the other side of this quick breather. Lagos, don't go nowhere. Stay tuned to Smooth 98.1.
You could just pause it, or she just pause it here.
Oh, you could. All right, it is 32 minutes, Compass 5, and Lagos, you're tuning into the marketplace here. With me in the studio is my honorary guest in the person of Jeremiah Olatide. He is the CEO of Petrol Price Dot Com, and we're talking about all the goodies that could come through from Dangote's refinery. And talking about that, yes, let's talk about something that we know too well about. That is our usual fuel. So I know that we have a lot of fuel stations, especially within the urban areas. I want to know, is this nationwide distribution from the refinery more beneficial to those in the rural areas? Would it pan out to anything for them?
Yes. Quite frankly, the subsidy removal has affected those in the rural area.
Okay.
30 to 40% of retail outlet owners cannot afford a truckload of petrol because it moved from 7-8 million per truck to 40-45 million per truck. That is like a 300% increase.
That's ginormous.
Yeah. So what retail outlet owners, what they do is that they co-load 3-4 stations. They come together and say, oh, you can't afford to get a truckload. I have 12 million, you have 15 million. And tanker trucks have compartments.
Yes.
So each per compartment you buy, and they discharge at their stations. So this initiative is going to help them because there's a credit facility here. Where station owners could buy one and get one for credit.
Not free, oh. Yes, see, I need to be clear. It's buy one and get one on credit, and then with subsequent, as you sell, you get to repay. It's not buy one and get one free. So we need to clear that because anybody hearing that is like, oh, okay, so buy one get one free. Oh no, that's not how it works.
So with a bank guarantee,
right.
So he's trying to salvage situation that has hampered the retail outlet owners. The increment was massive, and imagine the profit margin still remains. It still remains. You have like 300% increase, but still the margin is still the same. And interest in the bank, the higher the amount, the higher the interest. So this initiative, for me, it's a good one. But I know that the downstream has different arms. We have the refining, we have the storage facilities at the petroleum depots, and we have the retail outlets. So Dangote is connecting the retail outlets, excluding
that middleman.
The middleman. So that is where you have a whole lot of kicks from different stakeholders, Petran, Ipman, and the marketers around. So for me, they are just a subset of the downstream sector. We still have other subsets of them, yeah, that would definitely enjoy this. Even the end users are the bigger pictures here.
Okay.
The end users are bigger pictures. In the past, we've had importers jack up price as high as 3,000 per liter. We've bought fuel for as high as 3,000, 2,000 per liter. The hold product when it comes to when
particular seasons.
Yeah.
You'll not be wondering what exactly happens during this period. So that was them taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah. So for me, it is a kind of sanitizing the industry.
Okay.
Yeah. The era of abnormal profit is gone.
Okay.
The era of the middlemen making crazy income. I call it lazy money is gone. So now you have to wear your thinking cap. And you have to be
strategic.
Innovative. You have to be innovative to make money this time around. The time where you go get subsidy money from the federal government is gone. You just go to the federal government, they pay you. Okay, I imported.
And you're living la vida.
Yeah, I imported 5 vessels, which you just imported 2. You claim 5 vessels, you get a lot of money and all of that. Those period, they are gone. So it is a good one, personally. But I know so many persons that have been listening to me. They, oh no, you want to take off the middlemen. It is a time for collaboration.
Right.
Instead of competing, the depot and the storage owners should collaborate with Dangote. Dangote.
But here's the thing I want to quickly find out.
Okay.
I'm just wondering, wouldn't he now become, or wouldn't he be the only one within this sector? That kind of monopoly.
Yeah.
It could be scary.
Yeah, that's a major concern. I know stakeholders are concerned about Dangote's monopolistic nature.
We've seen that happen in other fields I'm not going to mention, but yeah.
So I am aware stakeholders are concerned about it.
Right.
But for me, those in the downstream sector, they've been around for decades. The importers, yes. And I'm very sure they will strategize. They should come together, merge up, collaborate, and possibly
get their own refinery
or possibly try and patronize the federal government to buy a large stake in all. We have several refineries that are not working. The Port Harcourt refinery has not been working. The Kaduna refinery has not been working. So you could see how you could get a share from those refineries and you keep putting them. So when 2-3 importers try and get shares, I am of the opinion that the federal government should privatize our refineries, because all over the world refineries are run by individuals, private entities, not government.
Yeah, as some people will say, government has no business in
doing business.
So at some point they might have to just cut their losses, let the people
just
run
regulate,
it,
just regulate basically,
and be the regulator. And with that, talking about the regulator, what role does the NNPCL? I just didn't want to mix that up. So what would your role be, especially trying to compete in this market at the moment?
Well, unfortunately, NNPCL is supposed to be a major competitor to the Dangote refinery.
Right.
Yeah, because the 4 refineries has a total of 455,000 barrels.
Oh my days.
Yeah, and that is just below Dangote's capacity. But because it's being run by the federal government, that is why every now and then you hear fraud cases, you hear, refinery is going on maintenance, the refinery is going on rehabilitation and all of that, because nepotism, corruption and all of that. But the Dangote refinery is being run by an individual that has invested a lot, and he would want to recoup his investment. So he's going to put in the best and all of that. So for me, NNPCL the refineries should be privatized. NNPCL should just have between 30 to 40% stake while you give out 60% to the importers. Those guys have been around for a while. They understand the terrain. Those guys will compete massively with Dangote. And we have the Boa. We have the Boa Refinery coming up soon.
Oh, okay.
With 200,000 capacity. Yeah, Boa Refinery is currently in construction at Akwa Ibom.
Okay.
And the news we've gotten that as
soon as
they'll be up with 200,000.
They'll be up and running.
So I think with Boa Refinery coming up with 200,000 barrels per day,
right,
and our refineries possibly being
Whichever way
privatized, yes, because if they don't privatize those refineries, you keep hearing stories that, oh, we are going on maintenance, we want to rehabilitate. You keep hearing several stories. So the only way is privatize. Boa Refinery should be working. Dangote Refinery should be working. So at that level, there will be competition.
Right. So
the monopolistic opportunity or ability for Dangote to take over will not be there. But if they don't do all of that,
right,
Dangote might monopolize the industry. He's a businessman. He's a strategist.
Like I said, it's all about me making my money. Yeah. So if I'm pumping so much money into the business, I need to see my gains. And if it means I'm the only one who's selling an eye to everybody, well, that's not my fault.
Yeah.
You two come and sell your eye. All right, Lagos. Don't forget that you can share your thoughts this evening. 0809-444-0981. Love to hear your take on the conversation this evening. But now talking about oil prices. I know that it has risen recently following the whole exchange between Israel and Iran. But here's a quick question. Are oil prices generally down compared to last year?
Okay, well, for now, it still has a high level of uncertainty.
Okay.
Oil prices might hit $100 per barrel.
That would be good stuff for Nigeria, since I know our benchmark was last 75.
Yeah. But at the other hand, prices would surge. Pump prices is going to go up. 80% of what makes up the raw material in refining petroleum products is the crude oil.
True.
And if crude oil surges, definitely our petroleum price is going to surge. But at the other hand, the revenue of the federal government, our country's revenue is going to suffer. So it's either you say, oh, Nigerians get cheaper products with a lower crude oil price, and our revenue suffers because it's been benchmarked to $75 per barrel. Or we have a pretty high crude prices. We make enough money to the coffers of the government.
Right.
But Nigerians
get to suffer it one way or the other. You get to buy higher prices.
Higher prices, because currently the price of diesel in Lagos is between 980 to 1,000 at the station.
Right.
And at the depot, it's pretty 940, 950. That's okay. But as soon as crude oil prices surge close to $100 per barrel, we're going to start buying 1,000 to 1,003.
But we've been there before, actually.
Yes.
But
but it's not a good state. Buying per liter for 1,415. That's pretty too high.
It is reason why we need to diversify and see how we can do
other things.
Now that brings me to my final question for the day. I know that time's almost gone. Is it possible for us to say goodbye to fuel shortages anytime soon? Like, say goodbye forever. Is it going to be possible ever?
Well, for now, I would say we are getting to that level of energy security in Nigeria. We've had energy insecurity.
Okay.
Yeah, when the importers, we rely only on the importers. So they take Nigerians for granted. They bring in products. When it's at a particular season, they hoard it.
Right.
Yeah, and they hoard products. And when they notice that the tension is high, they start selling.
Yes. We're the masters at this game.
Yeah.
So as well.
So we had energy insecurity.
Okay.
But now that there's a combination of local refinery, Dangote refinery, and importation, now currently it is a 50-50. Dangote does 50% of our daily consumption, we get it from Dangote, and 50% of our daily consumption is possibly from importation.
Right.
So that combination gives us that balance. So for now, we are not going to experience anything that relates to scarcity.
Okay.
Because in the advanced country, even in US, they still import because they want to attain that point of energy security. And
here's a tricky one. Why I'm even asking this is we've seen how innovative we are with EV vehicles.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, these few vehicles will have to go out of circulation.
Yeah.
So how far or how close are we to being on par with how things will be?
Yeah, well, for now, I understand that renewable energy is coming to stay.
Okay.
Because it's a moving train, and but for the population currently all over the world, we're having a massive population, we're having massive development, and because of that, fossil fuel would not go out of place. Because of the population, the development, fossil fuel will not go out of place. So we could have a combination of both.
Okay.
Renewable energy and fossil fuel coming to play together, but for the oil, the oil will still remain a big deal.
Okay.
A honey pot.
As long as we don't feel
well.
Some say it's not possible to finish, but you never can tell. Certain things can actually finish if you over exploit it.
Yeah, but we've been exploring oil since 1963 thereabouts. Right. We noticed, I think 1963 thereabouts, we got our first oil at Olubiri, Bayelsa, and all of that, and we've been exporting since 1963. But
yes,
we still need diversified.
I like the fact that you're ending on that note. On Lagos, it's been an interesting conversation. Yes, Jeremiah Olatide has shared a lot of insight, especially here on the marketplace. And hey, you know what? I'm just wondering, how can Lagos reach out to you, or maybe not just someone in Lagos, those in diaspora? How can they reach out to you on your social media handles?
Okay, thank you so much. Petrolprice.ng is a digital platform.
Okay.
That is designed to track prices across all retail outlets and stations.
So are you on X?
Yes. X. Yes.
So how?
Okay, for Facebook, petrolprice.ng.
Okay.
On X, petrolprice.ng.
IG,
petrolprice.ng.
So you're Petrol.
And
you're the
if
same.
You want to follow me,
right?
Yeah, Olatide Jeremiah on Facebook, Olatide Jeremiah on X. Okay. Olatide Jeremiah on IG, Olatide Jeremiah on LinkedIn.
Okay. Well, Lagos, you have all those platforms to reach out to Jeremiah, and whatever further questions that you weren't able to, possibly you're looking at how to collaborate, well, he's in the right position to share all the insights that you need. But that's how we draw cutting today on the marketplace. You know how we get to do it here on Smooth 98.1. The conversation never ends, and the music never stops.
Whoa!
All right.
It's my pleasure.